Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining the webinar. I hope you're all doing okay. My name is Neil. I'm the Senior Trainer at CreativeHUT, and I've been working in education for nearly 10 years now. So I've had the privilege of working with lots of teachers and pupils and seeing the impact that hands-on learning has in the classroom or at home, wherever you are. So we want to basically be able to give you some ideas and inspiration on some great activities that you can do to bring some of this hands-on learning to everything that you're doing at home as well. So hopefully these will be helpful for that. To give you a little bit of background on CreativeHUT, we are basically a STEAM education resource and training provider. So we're usually working with schools, teachers or educators in general, helping them to identify and put in place the best hands-on resources and solutions for them to use in the classroom in different areas of the curriculum. So that's from early years all the way up to further and higher education. And of course, what we're usually doing is providing a lot of consultancy on the different resources and activities they can do. We supply the physical resources themselves, and we provide ongoing support and training on those resources to make sure they're effectively used in the classroom for those different areas of the curriculum. We're partnered with all sorts of brilliant education technology providers to help us do that. Tech Will Save Us absolutely being one of our key partners. We'll come on to those in a bit more detail in a second. But of course, with the situation we're in at the moment, it's not as easy to get your hands on those great resources. So if you don't currently have the opportunity, we're giving you some ideas on things you can do with what you do have access to at home. So there'll be a little bit of both within this webinar that we'll be going through now. Okay, so before we go into activities themselves, I think it's always important to give you a little bit of background on where these came from as well. So these activities that we'll be introducing you to have been put together by a brilliant company called Tech Will Save Us, who actually produce all sorts of different kits which do allow pupils and children to basically get hands-on with different types of technology to help them understand where it's used in the real world around them and get them thinking about how they can use it for themselves. So that's kits that help them to explore simple things like electricity and conductivity. We'll be looking at that in a little bit more detail shortly. How they can incorporate arts and crafts with technology to make things like wearable tech, something that's growing and growing in the real world at the moment. And there's all sorts of different ones which actually encourage them to get hands-on with and use and understand programming or coding within technology. So there's all sorts of different ways that Tech Will Save Us help kids to understand and use technology. These are just a few examples. There's all sorts of different ones. So we can definitely point you in the direction of exploring those in a bit more detail if you want to at some point. And all of this, of course, it is focused on enabling kids to develop their STEAM skills to help prepare them for the future, to help them prepare for whatever careers they might be going into, to be able to get creative and solve whatever problems are put in front of them. And that's absolutely through lots of different fun and engaging projects. Okay, so all of these projects which Tech Will Save Us put together, they're definitely suitable for schools in general, or after school STEM clubs or STEAM clubs, or at the weekend, or of course for home educators as well. They're really flexible, can be used in whatever setting or scenario. The projects are curriculum aligned to all of the different STEAM subject areas. That's of course science, design and technology, computing, maths, and there's a lot of cross-curricular value even into things like language, music, the arts, of course. There's lots and lots of different opportunities for this, and they do provide very easy to follow lesson plans. And again, I'll be showing you what they look like and where you can access them as well. And all of these are suitable for different age groups. So there's certain ones which are suitable for Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, and Key Stage 3. So no matter what age pupils or children you're working with at home or in school, if you are still in school at the moment, there are ones that are suitable for you. Okay, so, but as I say, at the moment, it's not as easy to get your hands on the specific kits. If you can, great. And you need any help on that, then please do let us know. We can help you on that sort of things as well. But as I said at the start, Technical Savers have been great in putting together activities that you can do at home with just simple household items, which hopefully you do have access to. So you can still get involved in lots of great activities, which are going to help your children develop their STEAM skills. Now, this ebook is completely free of charge. The link to where you can find it was detailed in the webinar Eventbrite listing. So hopefully you've got access to that. If not, we'll make sure we send you through the link after the webinar's finished. So we will make sure you have access to that. Okay, so there's lots of great activities within this ebook. Again, they are suitable for all sorts of different age groups. So make sure you take a good look at that and see all the different activities and see which ones you think are going to be most suitable for you. They are split into different age groups for different subject areas. So you can filter down to the ones which you really want to have a go at and they're going to be useful for your kids. But I'm going to give you a couple of quick demonstrations on some of these activities. You can see I've basically taken some screenshots of two of those activities. So they're really easy to follow. They give you the outline in terms of what subject area or skill they're most related to, the age range they're suitable for, and how long you might expect to take them for. Now, with that age range, that is just a suggested age range. There's no reason you couldn't use any of these activities with older kids or vice versa to younger kids. They can be adapted to work with whatever age kids you are working with. And then it gives you also the general overview, the learning outcome of the activity. On the right hand side, it tells you what materials you're going to need. So whatever ingredients or bits and pieces from around the home you might need to carry out the specific activity. And then, of course, a step-by-step guide. So it maps out really simply, really basically easy to follow so you can do these for yourselves at home. So it's the same format for all the activities within that ebook. I believe there's 17 different activities, and it does give you a full introduction to what they're all about, how you should approach them. So there's lots of support within that ebook to help you take this into the classroom or use it at home. As I say, we're going to take a quick look at a couple of these. So I'm going to begin with one which you can do just with stuff you've got at home, and then I'm going to introduce you up to one which you can partly do with stuff you've got at home, but it's great to expand on if you do have some of the specific Technical Savers kits, which I know some of you will have as well. So we'll do a bit of both. But the first one is going to be focused on this activity here called Why Does Soap Kill Viruses? And this is really all based around something that's of course very prevalent now, and is encouraging the kids to understand why it's so important for us to wash our hands and the effect it has on killing things like germs, bacteria, and helping prevent the spread of viruses. So something of course really topical now as well. And I'm just going to switch to my camera view now so you can see this a little bit better. So hopefully you can now see me again. Hello. I'm just going to change my camera view so you can see exactly what I'm working with. So basically I've pre-set up the ingredients which it was suggesting within the lesson plans. That's exactly what I've got here. So I'm just going to change my view and hopefully you can see these okay. And this might be something that you've seen a similar activity of elsewhere, but this is a great one to do, really simple. It's great that Technical Savers have put this into a nice structured lesson format for us. So as I said, it's all based around exploring why it's important to wash our hands and how it helps protect against bacteria, germs, and help stop the spread of viruses. So what we've got here in this bowl is basically an example of some virus or bacteria infected water. So in this, simply we've got, you can use either water or milk or some other type of liquid or fluids. And within that is basically pepper. Okay, so the pepper you can see within this, hopefully, is what's representing the bacteria or the germs. And what we'll notice now is if I or the kids were to put their finger into that water, into that infected water, so you can see that it's mixing in with all those horrible germs and bacteria or the virus. And if I actually bring this out, you can hopefully see on the camera, if not, there's lots and lots of pepper flakes or bacteria or virus flakes on my finger. Okay, so you can see how that bacteria has managed to transmit to me and has the potential now of infecting me as well. Okay, so what we now next want to demonstrate is how this is different if we have effectively cleaned and washed our hands. So I'm actually just going to quickly remove the pepper bacteria from my finger to start again. Now what I have in this other bowl is simply some liquid soap. Okay, so we want to encourage the kids now to properly clean and wash their hands. And I'm making sure my hand or my thing is really clean, so I get lots of nice, lovely soap on there. And okay, so I've got a really clean hand now. And now when we put our finger into the infected water, we will see what happens. So again, hopefully this is able to be picked up by the camera well enough for you. So now I'm going to put my finger into the bowl. And hopefully you saw there how that quickly spread away the bacteria or the virus. Okay, so you can see how that reacted to my now nice and clean hand or finger with soap and the difference that has. Okay, so it's a really great experiment to do to demonstrate the importance of washing our hands and keeping them clean. So I'm just going to change my view back now. So hopefully that all made sense. You can see how you can follow that kind of activity quite easily. Of course, it's maybe not the absolute scientific explanation of how soap helps to combat against bacteria and the spread of viruses, but it's a really good demonstration of why it's important, and of course helping to encourage our children to make sure they are washing their hands. So it's a great little activity to do. So that's an example of one of those free activities you can do just with things you're going to hopefully be able to find around the home. There are lots of activities like that. Now I'm going to go to something slightly different. This activity is the one that was called the electrodough activity. And this you can do partly at home with just, again, simple materials you've got access to. But there's another way you can take it if you do have access to the specific kits. I'll try and explain both. So I'm going to change my view back now. Actually, bear with me as I get this properly set up. Need to make sure I've got everything correct and you're going to be able to see it okay. And I will change my view so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I think we're good to go. So let's change that view back down to my workstation. So this is all based or generated from a kit that Tech Will Save Us together put together called Electrodough. So that is this set here. Again, you are going to be able to do parts of this at home without the full kit and certain parts with the full kit. But this is all based around helping kids to explore and understand electrical circuits and conductivity. Okay, so there's all sorts of components that they've got within this set to help them do that. But the first step is creating Play-Doh, okay, so our electrodough. So that acts as a great conductor for electrical circuits. And within the kit and on that activity guide from the free ebook, it guides you through exactly how you can create your own dough at home. So you don't need to go out and purchase any particular dough. You can make it from any standard ingredients you've got at home. There is a full guide on exactly how to do that. And of course, dough is great for all sorts of things. We can use that for just general arts and crafts and exploring lots of different creations and creatures like are suggested in the electrodough activities. So you can make use of that side of it just at home. But I want to give you a quick example of how you can take that even further if you do have the opportunity to do so with this electrodough kit, which is really actually quite cheap and affordable for you to do at home as well. Okay, so but I'm going to do a very quick demonstration first of all with a few basic components. So what I've got here is a really simple battery box with 4 AA batteries in it, from which we've got 2 wires to help us start creating our circuit. And all I've got here is really simply 2 balls of Play-Doh, and hopefully you can see here just a really simple LED which is plugged into that those 2 lumps of Play-Doh. Okay, so that's what I've got set up at the moment. And this is to straight away demonstrate how we can flow the electrical circuit through the Play-Doh to the LED to make that work. So I'm going to turn this battery box on now, and then hopefully you can see in the camera we have enabled us to light up that LED. So straight away, we're creating a circuit which is being conducted by that Play-Doh. As simple as that. But hopefully that's giving you a quick understanding of how we can use this. What I'm now going to do is going to turn this off. Well, actually, it's just so you can hopefully see that. Hopefully you can see that turning the LED on and off as I'm switching the battery box on and off. But that's a really quick, just introductory activity to show how that works. I'm now going to switch to something a little bit more complex. I'm going to change my view while I switch this over. Hello again. And make sure this is good to go before we come back. So what I'm setting up off the screen now, again, is a full guide for, but it's where we can take this all to the next step and creating almost a game which we can play. So I'm just setting up a different circuit now. I'll explain exactly what I've got here and how it works in a moment. Just need to make sure I've got everything hooked up and wired to go. I think I have just maybe one more step and I think we are good to go. If not, we can always change it again. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to change my view back to this for you now. And I'll explain exactly how this works. There we go. So hopefully, again, you can see it. Right. So this is taking a Let's Go a bit of a step further. Now, hopefully, you all are familiar with the game Operation. I think most people have played it at some point in their life. And what we've got here is basically a slightly different representation of that. This is called the Bellyache Buzz game. So what we've created now out of our dough, here is a whale in which we've created a hole for its belly. You see I've got the water spout for the whale here as well. And this is basically going to become a game, much like Operation, where I've got to try and take out the things or items of food that have gone into the whale's belly. So I've just got a simple snake or eel type there, a little fish here, which I can use. We can create all sorts of different aspects of the game. This is just one example. The kids can create whatever they want as well. I'm going to put the little eel back in the belly there. And we've created the circuit here, again, using that battery box. But I've got lots of different connector wires. This time I've got my LED here between the whale and the spout. This time I've also introduced a buzzer, which you get within the Electrodo kit. So the buzzer is part of the circuit as well. I'm also using crocodile clips to extend my circuit and some additional wires here, which are basically going to act as my tools to try and remove the items from the whale's belly, which is giving it the ache. Okay, so that is the purpose of the game. I'm now going to switch my battery box on, which it is, and hopefully demonstrate this for you. So the aim is I've got to use these tools here to try and remove the eel from the whale's belly without setting everything off. So let's have a go at that now. So I'm going to try and do that. Oh, I've failed. So hopefully you can now see the buzzer, the LED going off and the buzzer being set off with that. So it is quite a big component. Every time I touch the sides, it is setting off those parts of the circuit. Okay, so hopefully that is all making sense again on how that works. I've made that quite hard myself with quite a large bit of food to try and remove from the whale's belly. For younger children, you can make it maybe a little bit easier with smaller bits of food or different bits of foods or making the belly bigger. But that's a really great, fun way of creating a game for themselves, but allowing them to explore how the electrical circuits work between all of these different components of the game and is conducted through the Play-Doh, which is brilliant. It's a lot of fun to create in the first place, a lot of fun to actually play with, and helps to understand how it's all flowing and working together through the circuit. Again, there are full free guides for this. So I hope that, again, has all made sense. You've enjoyed watching that and thinking about how you can have a go at all these different things for yourself. So as I said, within that ebook, there are lots of activity guides similar to that first one we did, where you can just do with things you've got at home, and other ones which do need little bits of kit. If you want to explore getting your hands on those, we are here to help with that as well. So before we completely wrap up on this. I'm just going to go back to the slide view. There we go. So throughout all of this, I will come back and answer any questions you've got as we've been working through. But when you do start to use activities and you've got any questions at all, please always do feel free to get in touch with CreativeHUT. We'll be happy to help. Our main email address is here, info@creative-hut.com. There's lots of examples of these resources and everything else that we can help on our website, so please check that out. Of course, if you do get the opportunity to use any of the activities and you want to share your efforts, we'd love to see those for ourselves and share what you're doing. So if you do want to take any photos or videos, please feel free to tag us in those on our social media channels, which you can see on the screen here as well. So please do feel free to take a note of those. We'll make sure you've got this information after the webinar as well. We'll be doing lots more of these tutorials, videos, live demos and webinars. So look out for those on our website and social media as well. You can also check out recordings of past activity guides on our YouTube channel. So again, I hope you've enjoyed that and found that useful. Thank you very much for joining, and bye for now.